Zach Martin Kilgore here with Secrets of Longevity in Humans.com. Perhaps one of the most well-known superfoods that is also deserving of that title is bee pollen. Bee pollen is an alkalizing superfood that is often referred to people as nature's most complete food, and it definitely is. It is made by bees, of course, and they go from flower to flower collecting pollen on the hairs of their legs and body, and that gets mixed with honey and formed into little pellets, which beekeepers actually collect in a tray underneath the hives, and it is used as a dietary supplement or superfood that has, in my opinion, the ability to replace a daily multivitamin. Dr. Nikolai Tsitsin was a Russian biologist who published a paper in 1945 on 150 centenarians that were studied and looked at, that he had sent out a questionnaire to throughout Russia. He found that a large concentration of them were in a location around the Caucasus Mountains of the Georgian region of Russia, which is known as Abkhazia. Now, out of all these 150 centenarians, it was found that each one of them had bee products in their diet, in their daily diet. So they were consuming honey, bee pollen, as well as other hive products. Now, a large percentage of these centenarians were actually beekeepers themselves. These beekeepers that happened to consume the honey that fell to the bottom of the hive, they were just taking the scrapings because they were selling the purest honey to people, obviously, because it had that pure look. But so they were consuming this honey that had all these other components mixed in with it. So the bee pollen, perhaps some propolis, wax, and the stuff that to most consumers looks like it's dirty, but really it's actually the good stuff that's in there. So this paper and this study really popularized bee pollen for its effects, as well as other hive products. So bee pollen is an incredibly rich and concentrated source of protein. Depending on the type of pollen and where it's from, because different areas of the world and different plants provide different types of pollen, so obviously it's going to vary quite a bit. But it's usually in the range of 25 to 40% protein, and these proteins are actually not really proteins, they're amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. So these are in the free amino acid form, which are highly absorbable. Bee pollen also contains a variety of essential fatty acids, and of course all the simple carbohydrates you'd find in honey, which is what holds the pollen in its little pellet shape. Bee pollen also contains the entire spectrum of B vitamins, although some people say it contains B12, but it would also happen to have the B12 analogs, which makes it not a really that useful form of B12. And if you're on a vegan or vegetarian diet that doesn't have any animal products, it's highly recommended that you take a B12 supplement with that. Soil-based B12 supplement, preferably. It also contains vitamins C, D, E, and K. So D is actually a vitamin that's often touted as only coming from the sun or from animal foods, but it's actually present in bee pollen, which is quite impressive. And vitamin K, that's a weird one, because that's usually in leafy greens, but bee pollen is also a source of that. And bee pollen is also a very rich source of minerals. It can contain up to 60 major and minor minerals. This obviously varies from the type used, but a lot of the rare trace minerals can be found in bee pollen, such as gold, indium, platinum. So these things that actually have effects in the body, beneficial health effects, but that are pretty much completely vacant from most diets. And then of course you've also got the Ormus Minerals, which are minerals that haven't been completely shown to exist yet in conventional nutritional terms, but it is a highly interesting area of nutrition, and it is suspected that bee pollen is a rich source of this, which might be why it's considered such a magical food. Bee pollen is also 15% lecithin, and lecithin dissolves cholesterol and helps remove it from the body, and it's also makes up a large portion of the tissue of the brain, so it obviously increases brain function. It also contains hormonal substances from the plants that the bees collect it from. This can greatly improve athletic performance and overall health. There is also the nucleic acids, or RNA and DNA, that is in the pollen from the plant, and this is because the pollen is actually the seminal portion of the plant. It's the reproductive part of the plant, so it's got a rich source of RNA and DNA, which it actually gives us the building blocks for repairing and increasing the health of our own RNA and DNA. Of course, pollen is also rich in carotenoids, that's why it has its yellow color, and a variety of other antioxidants. It's very high on the ORAC scale. Rutin is also another interesting compound that's in bee pollen, and this is very beneficial for increasing the strength of the capillaries and veins in the body, which prevent things like varicose veins and other problems with the circulatory system. Prevents bruising, or easy bruising. Finally, bee pollen is a very rich source of enzymes. It can contain over 5,000 types of enzymes, and these are used to increase and help balance the parts of our body that work on these enzymes. So that's in digestion as well as the metabolic processes. In competitive athletics, there are many coaches and athletes that actually use pollen, or have their athletes use the pollen. And this is kind of a secret that's kept because people don't obviously want to have an edge in competition, so not many people will divulge this, but it's well known that the Finnish track team that swept the Olympics in 1972, that was headed by the coach Antti Lenonaki, actually told afterwards that they had researched bee pollen on the effects that, or benefits that it had for their athletes, and so once they found how beneficial it was, they had their entire team taking it. So they found no adverse reactions with their athletes, and so naturally had their entire team take it. Some of the British sports studies have even shown that taking bee pollen can increase strength by 40 to 50%. So that is a huge amount of increase for an athlete to have an amazing edge. Another British study actually showed that there can actually even be height increases in adults that take bee pollen. Now that's really interesting because it's very widely accepted that once you reach a certain age you cannot grow anymore. But if there's anyone that's looking to increase their height, this could be something you could add into your routine to make that happen. So bee pollen is highly absorbable. Anyone taking it is generally going to have it absorbed into their body even before it's left the stomach. So it's definitely something you want to take on its own, not mixed with really heavy or dense foods, but it goes great in smoothies or elixirs, or eaten on its own. I personally take quite a large amount of it every day, anywhere from 4 to 8 tablespoons. If it's an average quality bee pollen. Higher quality bee pollen, I'll take a little less because I want to save it, obviously. Because bee pollen nourishes deficiencies in your body, some people find that they don't need to eat as much because they have the same amount of energy and the same amount of output in their activities with less food. So bee pollen is good in that regard for anyone that's looking to limit their caloric intake, who's looking for to get the benefits of caloric restriction for longevity. Now it must be mentioned that certain individuals do have allergic reactions to bee pollen, and that's generally people that already have allergies to bee products in general. So whenever you're taking bee pollen for the first time, it's advisable to take very small amounts, like even just 1 granule, and seeing if you have any sort of reaction, and slowly building it up from there. Now on the topic of allergies, bee pollen has actually been shown to reverse a lot of allergies for other things in some people. So if you have allergies to cat hair, for instance, it actually has a way to suppress or limit the body's release of histamine at the site of an allergic reaction or an intolerance to something in the environment. So I'm of the opinion that everyone should at some point in their life try, or at least enjoy, and try to make part of their life the wonderful qualities that bee pollen has to offer.